Now, there's no doubt about it that when it comes to creators like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Tony Gilroy, and yes, even George Lucas, they are the beginning of the creators that will make up this dream team to turn Star Wars into a better path for the overall community. And there's going to be more creators getting on this quote-unquote dream team to fulfill very powerful Star Wars TV shows and movies that are really going to stay in line with live-action adaptations of Star Wars Legends and the expanded universe content coming to life. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without wasting too much of your time, let's get right into the subject. Now, what's really interesting about what's going on with the current slate of Star Wars movies, we've got, of course, the new Jedi Order film, the new Republic movie by Dave Filoni and others, as well as, let's not forget about Dawn of the Jedi, that's being led by the Indy 5 creator, and there's a lot of negative things going on with that right now. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But what's really interesting to me the most has a lot to do with actress Daisy Ridley. Now, as you all know, Daisy Ridley ended her time in Star Wars back in 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. Since then, Daisy has not gotten offered a lot of big blockbuster films. She's been in a couple of things here and there, but nothing major that's going to really create a launch pad for her career in the film industry. So, where it stands right now, Lucasfilm officially announced her involvement in the upcoming new Jedi Order movie. A lot of fans like to call this simply the Rey movie. I guess it's easier to call it that way. But moving on to what's going on here and why this movie is going through quite a bit of trouble right now, involves the actress herself. Now, with Daisy, of course, involved and Disney and Lucasfilm beginning to develop multiple Star Wars movies and shows to expand their slate of Star Wars installments, recently, actress Daisy Ridley has been getting caught up in some drama related to the current new Jedi Order film, as the actress is demanding a higher payout for the return of Rey as one of the main characters in the movie. Disney is reportedly underpaying Daisy Ridley for the role of Rey, which is described to be the main selling point of this film. Disney has been refusing to fall into the demands of the actress and her agent, and that reportedly Ridley wants out of this project if she does not receive a higher payout from Disney involving the big role of hers in what is planned to be a near 3-hour movie by Stephen Knight, who is still trying to finish the script but met with delays due to the writer's strike. Now, Daisy is reportedly growing frustrated with Disney's small payout compared to what she was paid for The Rise of Skywalker, and is demanding to get around double the amount. So let me just say one thing about this that really surprises me, and well, actually no, it doesn't surprise me. The fact that Disney is underpaying Daisy Ridley for the return of Rey in this post-Episode 9 film, this Rey movie, whatever you want to call it. The fact that they are underpaying her could very well mean two things. They are not confident about this movie, and they feel it's going to underperform, hence why they want to underpay the actors and actresses involved. This way they're not going to lose a lot of revenue. Or B, it's just flat out poor ethics on their end by underpaying Daisy Ridley, because she is someone who really gave them a business and really provided them a very big role for the sequels. And even that, by the way, guys, she wasn't paid as much as you think she was for The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. Now that she's back in the new Jedi Order film, even though it is a supporting role, and that could very well also have a lot to do with why they're underpaying her compared to The Rise of Skywalker, regardless, Daisy is not comfortable with that, and she's not having it. So this is why she is calling to stand down from the role and quit from the movie unless they give her a higher payout. This kind of reminds me of what happened with Pedro Pascal for The Mandalorian Season 3 and Season 2, and eventually Disney caved. They eventually fell in and paid him more. And I think the same exact thing will follow with Daisy Ridley. I don't believe that Disney is going to be so, I guess you could say, stubborn to the point where they're just not going to pay her more. I think eventually they're going to cave, because they do realize that as long as they keep this movie on the slate, the main selling point is overall, bringing back Rey for the common moviegoers, for the casual audience. We know a lot of hardcore fans out there do not like the fact that Rey is coming back, so it really is a mixed bag on exactly where they want to go for this film. So moving on to the next thing here, this is where it gets a little bit more complex, is that this is something that is now actually creating bigger problems in the whole process of the film. Actor John Boyega, too, is said to have signed on for the movie after many negotiations and was reportedly being paid less than his appearance in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, though Mark Hamill is signed on to return as Luke in both flashbacks and as a Force ghost in this movie, Hamill is said to have no demands over his payout and is just happy to be back as Luke on the big screen. But Daisy and Boyega are the root of these growing issues with Disney and those in control of the budgeting of this film. The film is still on, even though Disney has been considering canceling it altogether or featuring Dave Filoni's movie first to avoid backlash prematurely for the Star Wars movies, so to speak. So here's the thing that really bothers me, alright? And I will say this openly here and very clearly, that I have a problem with John Boyega going on all these interviews and podcasts saying how he was so fed up with Disney and how he wants nothing to do with Disney and how he would never want to return there after what they did to him in The Force Awakens. You guys may know what I'm talking about how they used him as a ruse, they used him as diversion about who the Jedi really was in The Force Awakens, and it turned out to be Rey. Boyega hated that, by the way, and given that he signed the contract for 3 movies, he was on for the sequels. So he had to deal with it. And then, now, he's reportedly back for this Rey movie, seemingly selling himself out and giving into Disney and just kind of taking back what he said on all those interviews and podcasts about how he has a growing issue with Disney and what they did to him personally. So, it's interesting. I would not be surprised if Boyega backs out, but I'm still shocked that he would even go back to Disney after what they did to him. So, look, Finn has so much potential. I have nothing wrong with him coming back as far as his character goes. In fact, I think that Disney did the character dirty in Episode 9 because they tapped into him having Force abilities, like how he was Force sensitive, how on Exegol, he was kind of guiding the Resistance where to go and what to destroy. But they never really did anything with that to really kind of take advantage of his Force abilities in, I guess you could say, full force, where he could use that to combat the enemies. He never really got the limelight that he really deserved. So, anyways, without, going too far from the subject here, one thing about this is that Daisy Ridley, simply put, wants a higher payout from Disney. Boyega, as far as we know, we're not quite sure how much lower he's being paid in comparison to Ridley. Probably lower because he's not going to have as big of a role as Ridley is. So it's interesting to say the least. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.